Hey, so in this video I want to talk a little bit about what it means for me to find my perfect job. What my perfect dream job would look like. Okay, so I am on a job hunt right now, and as a matter of fact, last week alone I had 3 different job interviews for jobs in 3 different countries. So I was traveling quite a bit last week, and while I was traveling, while I was being on the train from one job interview to the next, I was thinking about what my perfect job would look like. So all these jobs were kind of nice. They sounded interesting. That's why I applied in the first place. But I wouldn't really consider any of them being my absolute dream job. And I tried to figure out why that was and what it would take for me to consider a job my dream job. So I was kind of narrowing it down to this. Um, I think for a job to be perfect, you should want to do it regardless of whether or not you need the money. So, this is the classic example. If you won the lottery tomorrow, would you still do your job? And I was thinking about it. If I had $10 million, for example, would I still do the kinds of jobs that I applied for? And I gotta be honest, the answer is absolutely not. If I had $10 million, I would do something else with my life. Of course, there's like things like traveling and buying a nice car and whatnot, what you could do with that money. But eventually I believe that you want to do something with your life. And the question is, what would you do with your life if you didn't have to care about money at all? If money was no issue to you at all, what would you do with your life? And I believe that this is what you should look for in a job. This is the kind of job you should try to get, the job that you would do regardless of whether you are rich or poor, whether you need the money or not. And as a matter of fact, I think this is exactly the reason, or the belief, the understanding behind the jobs that actually do get people rich. So the people who do earn so much money in their job that they wouldn't have to work anymore after a certain time. For example, celebrities, maybe sports icons, or famous writers, famous actors or actresses, directors, musicians, you name it. These are the kinds of people who make so much money, if they're successful, if they're popular, that after a couple of years they wouldn't have to do what they do in order to survive. They could live a pretty decent life with the money they made before. So why do they keep working at all? Why not just retire at age of 30 and, buy yourself a nice house on your private island if you can afford it and live happily ever after? Why not do that? And actually, I always wondered about that. Why don't these people do it? And I believe the only answer to that is that they just truly, really, really love their jobs. That's it. That is their purpose in life. They don't do it for the money. They don't do it for the fame or the popularity. They do it because they truly believe in what they do and they truly love what they do, regardless of what they earn from it. So this is also the main reason why they get rich in the first place, I believe. They are just so passionate about what they do, and that makes them willing to go the extra mile. That makes them willing to work long hours. That also brings the passion that is needed to, maybe skip a vacation or work throughout the entire weekend. They are willing to do whatever it takes, not to become rich or successful, but to be great at what they do. And this striving for greatness is exactly what makes them so successful in the end, and what makes them become rich and popular and whatnot, all that stuff. But they don't do it for that in the first place. So I really try to look for a job where I can see myself doing that kind of work, even if I was not forced to. Even if I didn't need the money, I would still do that job just because it gives me so much. It brings so much joy into my life. And it's just something that I enjoy doing in general. So this is the kind of job I'm looking for. Obviously, this is very, very hard to find, if not impossible, when you first start out working right after university. It might just not happen, but I think you still should have kind of an idea where you're going with that first job. It should point into the right direction. It should be the first step in a longer journey. And I think for anyone who starts out working, who applies for their first jobs, they always should have that vision in mind, that long-term vision of knowing where this job should potentially take them and what they want to do in their professional career and in their life in general. And these two, the professional life and your life in general, should be as congruent as possible. So I think this is what truly makes people happy who have a job they love. Keep that in mind and talk to you next time.